Hey guys, welcome to another video here on the AviationPro channel. It's time to make another VATSIM full flight. As you know, the last VATSIM full flight was with 2 pilots. This time it's only with 1 pilot. But I wanted to make another VATSIM video and a full flight before I was going on holiday, and also to test my new system and Prepar3D, of course. As you may know, I've switched to Prepar3D now. I've stopped using Flight Simulator 2004, so I'm now going to make my first VATSIM video using Prepar3D, and I hope it all works, and it is also a nice experiment to see how it goes. So we'll make a short little flight today. We'll fly from Düsseldorf in Germany to Bristol in England. So it's a nice and short flight again, and it's all based on ATC availability. It's now a Monday night, and departure time is in about 1 hour. And on Mondays there's usually not a lot of ATC available, so I had to kind of pick the best airports I could while still flying in some different countries this time instead of only in Germany. Yeah, I hope this flight will be quite nice, a nice little short over the North Sea. And we'll take a look at some of the details of this flight in the next video segment. Okay guys, so we'll take a look at our flight plan from Düsseldorf to Bristol. We're going to be flying Travel Service Airlines. That's just one of my favorite European charter airlines that I can use for basically every flight. And it's actually one of the only liveries I have installed so far for the PMDG, so that's why I'm using that airline to keep things simple. So we'll take a look at the fuel usage. We'll take about 7,500 kilograms of fuel with us for this flight. And we should be well able to reach our destination. Of course, there's some extra fuel here and there involved, but I've looked at the weather and it seems all calm, so I don't expect any trouble during this flight. So we'll take a look further at our route. You can see here this flight plan was created using simbrief.com. I usually use rocketroute.com, but since I'm using the PMDG 737, I find it easier to use simbrief.com. And here's a route overview of skyvector.com. Of course, I can really recommend that website because it gives a great visual representation of your routes, including the wind vanes. And as you can see, there's some headwind expected along our route. Not a lot, a maximum of about 50 knots, but it should be okay. So we'll fly nicely across the channel. We first depart out of Düsseldorf, then cross the tip of the south of the Netherlands of Limburg, the province of Limburg, and then we'll cross Belgium, and then we'll cross across the channel, and then we'll arrive at the Compton VOR station, at which we're gonna execute our approach into Bristol. So that's the basic overview of our route. So let's take a look. We'll fly at flight level 380. As you know, if you fly to the west, you have to use even flight levels, so we're going to fly at flight level 380 during this flight. Now we have about 19 passengers on board. We have 19 passengers on board. 3,000 kilograms of cargo, and yeah, we should be able to have a pretty smooth flight. Let's take a look at the wind directions. For example, at our top of climb, 310 at 42. So that's a little bit of a headwind, as you can see there. But in terms of weather, the weather here in the Netherlands is great. Very sunny, very stable weather. There's a high pressure area around us, so I don't expect the weather to be very bad along the route with a lot of turbulence or something, so that should be fine. Which, well, it's kind of sad because we can't really use the weather radar this time, but of course having a smooth flights every now and then is also pretty nice. Okay, so that was just a very basic look at our flight plan. If we take a look at the weather charts that come with Simbrief, I think we'll see the same. You can see here on this chart the wind vanes again, showing winds from the west to the east. So we're going to fly in the headwind, and I don't think there's any significant weather at all along our route, so that's proves to be a smooth flight, I hope. So yeah, so that's it. We got everything set up. We have our route set up. I'm now going to start the sim and prepare the FMC and all that stuff to get this flight going. So I'll see you in the cockpit and we'll start our flight soon. So hi guys, welcome into the cockpit. As you can see, it's a little bit of a different 737 cockpit this time. It's the 737 PMDG, and I've switched because I had some, slight problems with the iFly, and I thought, this is up to great standards, high quality. Kind of still have to get used to the flying dynamics. I'm not really sure about what's more realistic or not, but kind of had the feeling that the iFly felt more realistic, but of course I can't judge on that. But the looks of the cockpit are great, and everything in high detail, and of course the systems are according to the real 737, so that's a very great quality. So we'll be flying Skytravel 4124 today. I'm already on the ground here at Düsseldorf, as you can see. And I think there's some other traffic in the neighborhood as well. I can hear some engines running in the background. There's one aircraft down there. So I've quickly programmed the FMC for our routes today. Just put this one on the progress page. Everything is in there. So this gives us a nice opportunity to take a look at our routes for today. Well, these are for departure out of Düsseldorf. So we'll be flying the Mod Route 1 Tango departure. The active runway currently at Düsseldorf is runway 23 left. So what this means is we're going to climb straight ahead, then make a right turn heading 320 degrees, and then make a left kind of turn to end up at Mod 2 at flight level 210 or above. As you can see, that's also in the FMC. It's always wise to confirm that this restriction that you can see on the charts is also in the FMC. So here we got it, flight level 210 and above. We should be pretty well able to make it. And then yeah, that's basically a very simple departure. So we climb straight ahead, heading 230, and then make those left turns to reach Mod Route at flight level 210 or above. Okay. So we are here at the ground at Düsseldorf at the Alpha Pier, and basically what this means, we'll pushback. I don't have any pushback add-on installed as of yet, but basically means we're just gonna taxi via, I presume, Mike to Lima 2 holding point, or Lima 3 at runway 23. So that should be pretty doable. It's not a very complicated airport, not very big either. So we'll take a look at the weather as well, of course. It's very important. The current weather at Düsseldorf. So we have 360 degrees at 5 knots, CAV OK, temperature 27, dew point 16, QNH is 1020. So we'll put that in there, 1020, no significant change is expected. So pretty decent weather. And I already checked the weather at Bristol. It's currently 310 at 5 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 40,100. Temperature 25. Dew point 18. QNH 1020. So, pretty decent weather. Quite hot as well here in the Netherlands as well. So it's good to climb up to the skies to get some colder temperatures down there. So yeah, that's a little bit of an overview of our departure. So I'm gonna tune in I think the ground frequency is the first station that we're gonna see at Düsseldorf, I think, or maybe Tower. I'll take a look, and then we can slowly start our flight towards Bristol. Okay, guys. So I'm starting up the APU, and I'll just make sure everything is set here so far. Cruise altitude today is going to be flight level 380. I
think it's a good idea to listen to the ATIS to get to know the latest airport information. So let's do that on 123.77.
In use 23 left, transition level 60. Attention, departure frequency for all departing aircraft is long on radar on frequency 128.550, wind 360 degrees, 5 knots, cavalcade, temperature 27.16. QNH 1020 hectopascal or 3012 inches. Trend Nosig information echo out. Düsseldorf information echo. Net report time 1750. Expect ILS approach runway 23 left. Runways in use 23 left. Transition level 60. Attention.
So as you could hear, we have information echo, if I'm correct. Oh, it says Bravo here. Well, I'll check that later. Basically, we're going to be using 23 left, runway 23 left. The winds are very weak, 360 degrees currently, but because the winds are weak, it doesn't really matter which runways to use. So that will give us the Multicrew 1 Tango departure indeed. And as the air traffic or the ATIS also says, you have to contact Langen radar ourselves on 128.55. That's the departure frequency for today. And it's also stated on the charts, like here, the initial flight altitude is 5,000 feet and remain on tower frequency until passing 2,000. Then contact Langen radar. So we know what to do. So yeah, I'll just finish up a few more things before starting our engines, and then we should be pretty good to go and start our flight to Bristol. Okay guys, so as you can see, there's some other traffic. There's an aircraft next to us and two at the other pier. It's not that busy, so that should not be a big problem when we ask for our clearance. I'm on the tower frequency right now already, 118.3. So I think we can go ahead. We have information echo. Runway 23 left, Multicrew 1 Tango. So the only thing we really need is our squawk code. And we are at stand Alpha 10, by the way. Düsseldorf, guten Abend, Sky Travel 4124 at stand Alpha 10 with information echo requesting clearance to Bristol.
Sky Travel 4124 Düsseldorf Tower, good evening. Information echo correct, startup approved. Cleared Bristol via the Multicrew 1 Tango departure. Flight plan to squawk 2213.
Cleared to Bristol via the Multicrew 1 Tango departure, runway 23 left, squawk 2213, and startup is approved. Sky Travel 4124.
Sky Travel 4124, read back correct.
So there we go. We'll put in the squawk code 2213. 2213. And yeah. So our startup is approved. We can start our flight. I estimated our departure time at 18:30 Zulu, so that's 2 minutes ahead. So that's perfectly on time. So what we'll do is push back, taxis straight to runway 23 left, and try to get a rolling departure out of it. Okay guys, so everything is set, the APU is running, giving us some bleed air as well. I've turned on the anti-collision lights and we'll go for pushback. Just turn those seat belts on as well. So we don't want to hurt the passengers, do we? Yeah, I think everything is set, so we'll ask for pushback after this transmission.
Airline 615.
I'm already putting in the departure frequency, so we don't have to do that when we are in the air.
And everyone tango squawk is 2215, General 3 Alpha Whiskey. General 3 Alpha Whiskey, read back correct.
So we can ask for pushback. And Sky Travel 4124 request pushback.
Sky Travel 2, correction 4124, pushback approved, face north.
Pushback approved, face north, Sky Travel 4124. Okay, so face north is not really possible for me, so we'll just do a straight pushback onto taxiway.
Sky Travel 4124, can you actually push back facing east on Tango?
Roger, we'll push back facing east on Tango, Sky Travel 4124. So let's take a look. Facing east on Tango. So yeah, we'll just do a straight pushback, that's all we can do. Let's see. There we go. And in the meantime, we can start our engines. We've got air pressure, and we'll start engine number 2 first. And we'll add the fuel. Meantime, I'll check if there's everything's okay here. And the engines are starting up nicely. Or engine number 2. Starting it out. And we'll almost stop the pushback, and I forgot to remove those.
TJ 3 Alpha Whiskey, we're now ready for push and spark 3 Alpha 13. German XT Alpha Whiskey, pushback approved, face stop. Push approved 3 Alpha Whiskey.
Something I have to get used to, of course. And we'll stop the pushback. Park and brake set, and we'll add the fuel for number 1. And let me remove the ground connections. My mistake. And starter cutouts. Okay, we'll let the generators take over. Center pumps are not needed, and we'll turn on all the packs. Go. That seems to be fine. Okay, so we just heard from ground that we have to contact, or from tower that ground is aligned on 1 to 1.9er, or decimal 9er. So I've tuned in that frequency and we'll ask for taxi clearance. And we're now on taxiway Tango, so I guess Tango and onto taxiway Mike. Düsseldorf ground, Sky Travel 4124, request taxi.
Sky Travel 4124, Düsseldorf ground, Lima 1, via Mike.
Taxi Lima 1 via Mike, Sky Travel 4124. Okay, there we go. Park and brakes released. And we'll set flaps to 5. And there we go.
Düsseldorf ground, Germany 3 Alpha Whiskey. We are now ready for taxi and request Lima 4 departure, the intersection departure please. Germanwings, 3 Alpha Whiskey. Going to select 100 to Tango, Prepar 2, Mike, Lima 4. Roger that, actually following the travel, going to for Gemini Tango, turning left into Mike and continue to Lima 4 intersection for Germany 3 Alpha Whiskey. Thank you for the intersection departure.
So now we carry a lot of responsibility because we have to guide another aircraft to this direction. Well, maybe it's not that. He should know his way as well. Okay, nice. We'll just quickly check the flight controls here. The elevator. And the ailerons. There we go. start switches to continuous. And we can turn the APU off. You can see the sky looks great.
Skytrail 412, contact tower 118, please.
Contact tower 118.3, Skytrail 4124, choose. Oh, there goes my flap panel again. 118.3. That's Lima 4. We need to taxi a bit further. And I'll put in 128.55 already for our departure frequency. And tower hello again, Skytrail 4124.
Skytrail 4124, Düsseldorf Tower will come back, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Skytrail 4124. Taxi to Lima 1, and everything should be set. Only thing we have left to do is let's take a look straight ahead here. Lima 3, over there is Lima 2. All we have to do is turn on the landing lights, strobe lights, and the TCAS for departure. Transponder to active. And wind's 230, so it's a bit in our back. It's not really.
Düsseldorf Tower with an island hill again. Join 3 Alpha Whiskey, ready for departure. 23 left and intersection Lima 4. Join Alpha Whiskey, wind 360 degrees, 5 knots, runway 23 left, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, 23 left, join 3 Alpha Whiskey.
So the German wings goes first. Apparently, he's in a hurry. No idea why.
Travel 124 line up runway 23 left and wait 1 intersection departure ahead.
Line up and wait runway 23 left, Skytrail 4124. Okay. 1 intersection departure, there he goes. I've installed all the World of I liveries and aircraft, so of course that adds a lot to the realism, I think. You can see a lot more. A bigger diversity of airplanes, which is very cool, I think. And we should be the next one for departure. Parking brakes. Just make sure there are no spikes from my joystick because sometimes it's interfering with my yoke controls, which is not very nice. The other aircraft should be gone now. And after departure we'll contact Langen radar 128.55 after passing 2,000 feet. That's our next step.
Skytravel 4124, wind 360 degrees, 5 knots, runway 23 left, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 23 left, Skytrail 4124. Okay, we'll release the parking brakes. And we'll set takeoff thrust. Thrust is set. A little bit of crosswind from the right. rotate. Nice and smooth. Positive rate. Gear up. And now nav is armed. Autopilot 1 is on, and we'll contact Langen radar. Langen radar, guten Abend, Skytrail 4124, passing 2000 feet.
Skytrail 4124, good evening to you, let a contact, climb flight level 150, direct Multicrew.
I think he said 150. Climb direct flight level 150 and direct Multicrew, Skytrail 4124. That seems to be correct.
Tower frequency 118.3.
There we go. So, good departure.
And Skytrail 4124, speed is yours.
Speed is ours, Skytrail 4124. Yeah, still had to accelerate the aircraft, so we're now accelerating. Just using flight level change right now to gradually go to the next flap settings. And we can turn flaps up, and I'll engage VNAV. He says he's unable to reach the next altitude, flight level 210 or above. I think that happens, of course, because we are now not flying the whole standard instrument departure, so it will. We'll see if we can make it. Anyways, smooth departure, I think. Just climb straight ahead and fly straight ahead as well, so not too much trouble. And I think we'll soon switch to another longer radar frequency which controls the center basically. So now at Düsseldorf approach or departure, but they call it longer radar of course here, and then
Skytrail 4124, climb flight level 380.
climb flight level 380, Skytrail 4124. So that's straight direct to our cruising altitudes. It's very nice. 380 set. You can enjoy the views a little bit and the nice clouds. I'm using Active Sky next, which of course is a great improvement as well. I know Active Sky 16 was released a couple of days ago, but I'm not switching to it yet. I just wait for some kind of sale or something, but from what I've seen it looks pretty good, but you know, I couldn't wait to get at least Active Sky, so because I made quite a few flights using the 737 here already, so okay, all lights are off and everything is still set here, looking good. Okay. So as far as I can see right now, there's no ATC above Belgium, unfortunately. So I'm not sure how long we're going to stay with longer radar. I'm not sure if we're going to contact the next longer radar at all. Maybe we're not. But anyways, we'll go to London control as well, I hope. And Bristol, there's now ground online, so I hope there's some more ATC. I thought there was some ATC bookings there, but if they're not, then that's a shame, but we'll see. And I don't think we're going to make flight level 210 or above, unfortunately, but doesn't really matter for now. So as you can see, this departure went pretty quick. You know, a lot of things happen at the same time, and that's why it's very important to be prepared very well. You know, you have to kind of know your route, of course. That's very important. Kind of know the waypoints that are ahead. Of course, and having that frequency in there is very. I would advise that, because you know, then you only have to press one button, switch to the next frequency at 2,000 feet. In this case, it makes life a little bit easier. And I think we're flying over the Netherlands almost here already. Of course, I got the NL2000 scenery installed, which is a freeware scenery covering the entire Netherlands with airports and photorealistic scenery. So it looks really great if you're a VFR flyer. I would really recommend the scenery, but also IFR looks, you know, amazing. It just looks fantastic. You can really recognize this from my own real life flights. So this is the province of Limburg. Somewhere down there below on the left is Maastricht Airport, Maastricht-Aken Airport. It will not fly there today.
Control 4124, about any controlled airspace to the west. Brussels is not online, so Unicorn 122.8.
That's a shame, Skytroll 4124, monitor Unicorn 122.8, bye bye. That's the Unicorn frequency. Of course, it happens sometimes on VATSIM. I mean, can't always guarantee that there will be ATC everywhere during the flight, and this flight I prepared pretty quickly. So there was not much time left for me to do this flight. And but I hope at least there's some air traffic control over in England. And there you go. I think it nicely blends in with the ultimate terrain scenery actually. You'll see the hills of Limburg. Limburg is kind of the only Dutch province which has what we would call mountains. They're not mountains, but they're really hills. But it's the only really high ground we have in the Netherlands. The rest of the Netherlands is completely flat. But as you can see, we have some nice hills down there. In the meantime, we'll just climb straight ahead, and our next frequency is probably just London control. And I'm hoping for some more ATC at Bristol. It would be nice. I see Amsterdam also came online. I'm saving my flights to Amsterdam for when the Flight Tampa scenery is out of Amsterdam. Really looking forward to that one. I've heard a lot of good stories and saw a lot of good images. So it's better to wait for such scenery than to install an old scenery. So we're enjoying some beautiful sunset here above Belgium as we fly further to the west, and we should be reaching our cruising level soon as well. And there's some traffic down there below. Not sure if you can see it. I'm not recording in full quality, by the way. As you know, I put it in the description as well that I often record at low quality or half the quality of my screen, so at 720p instead of 1080p, because simply allows for some smoother flying experience for myself and for the video. But you know, I'm still kind of have to experiment with using 1080p, maybe for next time. But for these kind of flights, I think that this kind of works as well. Anyways, so we're now flying above Belgian airspace. There are two controllers at London online currently. the London West controller and the South controller, or SC controller, I'm not sure what it stands for. And don't fly that often to England or to the UK. But basically you have a map here provided by VATSIM UK, which exactly says which controller controls what region. So London SC Centre covers the London South Centre and London Centre Centre, I guess, if that means South and Centre. 380. So it's kind of the first waypoint we're going to be entering their airspace. So we'll take a look at what that is. The SkyVector is a really great website for that. So we leave Belgium airspace at Rapix, and then our flight plan continues via the Uniform Lima 610 airway, and it means we're gonna fly further to Tebra, Kopul, and all the way to the Biggin Hill VOR station. And as you can see, there's absolutely no turbulence at all, by the way. And we can see the sea over there as well, which is quite nice. Bit of an hazy sunset today. So if we look back at the diagram provided by VATSIM UK, you can see that if we look at the Belgian airspace right here, we'll be entering via Rapix waypoint, so that's part of the center region. So then you know that you have to contact 132.6 or decimal 6 first. You know, it's kind of a discussion, should the pilot contact the controller beforehand, before entering his airspace? In the real world, of course it kind of works that way. I mean, if you start flying VFR and you want to cross a CTR, you have to contact in advance the controller saying, hey, can I cross your CTR or something like that. But in VATSIM it's a bit more difficult because of course pilots do not often know, you know, what the boundaries of the airspaces are. That's kind of difficult to understand and grasp. Of course, you know, not every division of VATSIM really is clear about its, you know, information about its areas that it exactly controls. You know, usually it's more the controllers themselves that really know which area belongs to which controller and which frequency, but to the pilot it's a little bit unknown. So if you know it, if you're pretty sure in advance you're contacting the right controller like I do now, feel free to contact them 10 minutes before entering their airspace. Otherwise they will send you a contact me usually as well. You can wait for that if you don't want to have if you don't want to run into trouble contacting the wrong controller. But if you do so, you will be happily able to guide you to the correct controller, but you know, you might as well wait if you're not really sure about which controller to contact. That's maybe the best strategy there. So while we are still lonely flying above Belgian airspace, we might as well take a look at our arrival at Bristol already, and it's pretty straightforward. Of course we need to know the current weather. Current weather at Bristol. It's variable at 1 knots, visibility 10 kilometers or more, no clouds detected, temperature 25, dew point 18, QNH 1020. I think we already have 020 in there. So, well, barely any wind, so I'll just guess we'll take runway 09 for arrival into Bristol. Yeah, or runway 27, I don't know. We'll have to ask maybe with the air traffic controllers or take a look at the other traffic, what they are doing. It would kind of make more sense to do ILS 27. Anyways, we're going to be arriving at our last waypoint, Compton VOR station. And here we have the standard arrival chart of Bristol, and we're going to be flying the Bristol 1 Charlie arrival. So we're going to start at Compton, fly Compton outbound radio 276 to Pomax, then a heading of 252 degrees to the Bristol NDB, and that's basically the point where we can start the approach for the ILS. runway 09er, and if we have 09er, it means we're gonna make a right turn heading 285 degrees, and at ADME of this Bristol, I think it's ADME from the Bristol ILS, 110.15, I'm not sure, I'll have to take a look at it closely. I think it's ADME from the NDB actually. So 285, well, the NDB doesn't have a DME probably, but so 8 nautical miles from the runway, we're gonna turn left to intercept the localizer to the approach to runway 09er. If we have runway 27, it's a bit easier because then we can just have a straight in approach, I guess, from the let's see, from the Pomax waypoint, and then direct to the ILS, I guess. So that's pretty easy. As you can see on the map, there's also a warning for balloons. It's kind of interesting. So apparently there's some balloon activity in the Bristol area. And we already have a notification from London Control 132.6, so we'll go there. And we are inbound Dibley. London Control, good evening, Sky Travel 4124, flight level 380 inbound Dibley.
Sky Travel 4124, London Control, hello. Redirect Compton, Charlie Papa Tango, Bristol 1 Charlie, arrival.
Direct Compton, Bristol 1 Charlie, arrival, Sky Travel 4124. Well, that's nice, so we can fly direct to the Compton VOR, which makes our life a lot easier and makes the route a little bit shorter, thus more fuel efficient. And if I look at the ATC map, I see there's no London West controller line, so I'm kind of hoping that this controller has enough time on its hands to do the Bristol approach for us as well. But we'll see.
Sky Travel 4124, when ready, descend flight level 220 to be level by Compton.
When ready, descend flight level 220 to be leveled at Compton, Sky Travel 4124. Okay, so when we're ready to descend, we need to be at flight level 220 at Compton. And just advise with the ground controller, which is currently active at Bristol. Yeah, runway 27 is active, so we're going to get a new approach in there. So what I've done now is simply enter the approach to runway 27 in there. I think it's a bit unclear what the exact entry procedure is, but I guess we can kind of go directly to the approach after a certain waypoint. But for now we'll just follow the Bristol 1 Charlie arrival, which means level at flight level 220 at Compton, then direct to Pomax, and then to the Bristol NDB 414. So let's take a look at the ILS approach from runway 27. We have an inbound course of 268 degrees. 268 in both boxes. And the ILS frequency is 110.15. There we go. And we'll take a look at our arrival speeds. Just use 30 degrees of flaps and 38 knots. And there's just a normal standard wind correction of 5 knots because there's barely any additional wind. So final approach speed will be 143 knots. With flaps 30 and 10.15, 268. So that's all set. So we'll start our approach at 2,500 feet. And we'll just set the minimums to 167 radio altitude.
Left heading 055, climb flight level 370, no shuttle turn on.
And in case of go around, climb straight ahead to 3000 feet and then as directed, right? In case of a radio communication flight, climb straight ahead and at 40 meters right to the enemy at 3000 feet. So that's the kind of procedure you have to take. But for now it's just climb to 3000 feet and wait for instructions if there's ATC there. So basically the entry procedure for ILS, what you could do is just join the holding pattern, fly back, and then enter the approach that way. But you know, if there's no ATC, you can kind of factor yourself as well. It makes life a bit easier, unless you're in the mood for a challenging approach. You might want to, you know, join the hold, do a holding entry, and then make the turn perpendicular to the runway, fly perpendicular to the runway, and then make another left turn. There's a little teardrop turn to join the ILS approach. But we'll just keep it simple, I think, and maybe ATC will factor us. I hope. We'll see. And we're almost reaching our top of descent, so we have to be at flight level 220 at Compton. That's all set in there. And our current arrival time is 1949 Zulu. So that's great. The beauty of flying to the west is that you kind of, if you're flying fast enough, you can continue to fly with the sunset, which is of course very nice. So flight level 220 is set in there, and we'll start our descent. There we go.
Left heading 060 degrees, north hands 2800.
And as you can see, this flight is very smooth, absolutely no turbulence at all. Just a few clouds here and there, but other than that, it's a very smooth flight. Since the winds are very low at Bristol, don't expect a real problem there either.
Sky travel 4124, containing Unicom 122, decimal 8, bye.
Unicom 122, decimal 8, Sky travel 4124, bye. That is a shame. So we fly on Unicom, unfortunately. Which means we have to get our own approach in there and, you know, kind of make the best of it. So what I'll do, I'm just gonna vector myself. Would be the most logical thing to do. Just after POMAX, fly direct to the ILS. So as you can see, if we zoom in, now flying to Compton and then POMAX and then directly intercept the ILS. That's the best thing to do, I think. Says steep descent after Compton. We'll see about that. Just take it easy. And it requires drag. Oh, that makes sense, because of course there's a restriction on Compton. We can't descend any further than that, so kind of have to increase our rate of descent there after Compton. But it will be alright, I hope. We'll see. Because otherwise I think the FMC would have said that we were unable to use at altitude. So when we land, we're going to contact ground on 121.902. And let's take a look at the charts for the ground at Bristol. So we've reviewed the approach. And when we land on runway 27, let's take a look. We'll probably vacate all the way at the end at Golf, right to Golf, and then taxi to the apron to one of the stands. As you can see on this map. There are several parking positions. Not a lot. It's not a very big airport, Bristol. But that should be fine. And it's too bad that the controller that was initially there, London West Control, he could have guided us around to Bristol, and but he left, unfortunately. Of course, I can't always know that there will be ATC at a certain airport, and if the ATC will actually stay and fulfill his booking requirement. Well, it's not really a requirement, but it still happens that people book time slots, and then at the end of the afternoon, before your evening flight, you find out that there is no ATC, which is kind of a shame. So in this case, we'll improvise. But at least we had some ATC, nice ATC at Germany, which is always good. I'll just select 2500 here. Not sure what the transition level is, we'll just make something up. Yeah, some nice ATC in Germany at Düsseldorf, and some over London. But yeah, that's just how it goes on VATSIM. If this were the real world, of course there would be always an air traffic controller down there, but unfortunately this time there's not. So let's see how steep that descent is. We have to add some drag at some points, see? In the meantime, if you're flying without it, so you can spend more time enjoying the beautiful views in the simulator, of course. What I really like about Active Sky Next is those little puffy clouds everywhere, which looks very realistic. It's not like Active Sky Evolution, where you would just have patches of clouds, but here you can kind of see the individual clouds, which is really nice. And I'm sure with Active Sky 16 it's even better. I see some beautiful videos, so if you're looking for a good weather add-on, I would definitely recommend Active Sky. I personally use Real Environment Extreme Texture Direct for the textures, like the soft clouds here and the sky textures, things like that. Then I use just add some drag, by the way. Then I'll use Active Sky for the weather engine. I think they do a phenomenal job at depicting the weather in the sim. Looks really, really good. And if you're flying on VATSIM, I kind of recommend to use a weather radar. Of course, VATSIM uses the real world weather, so I would highly recommend that. There we go. But if you're a long-time VATSIM member, you probably know that already. But if you're new to the VATSIM network and you still want to learn more, I would definitely recommend a weather engine. Because if you read the weather charts that I showed you in my Flightplan of SimBrief, and also weather charts that I get from Rocket Route often, and if you then see that in the real world, well, in the sim, that's of course very nice, and you can really use that. And another great advantage of Active Sky Next is that you can use the weather radar. If we turn it on right now here in the sim, it probably won't show very much, because you have to understand the weather radar is not something that detects clouds or anything. It's just it basically detects rain and things like that, and snow. Although snow to a lesser extent, but real raindrops that are big, that are present in small cells or bigger cells that can reflect the radar beams of the weather radar easily. They get displayed on a weather radar. But clouds, those water droplets are very, very small, and it doesn't really reflect anything, so that doesn't make any sense. But the weather radar really only catches the rainy areas in the clouds, real precipitation, and that way you can kind of avoid the weather that's along your route, which of course is very nice. I'll add some more drag for this steep descent. So yeah, it's very important to understand the workings of the weather radar, what it detects, what it does not detect, what the shapes of the, you know, the things on your display are. Because of course clouds are, you know, can be very big. If you have those big thunderstorm clouds, you kind of have this shape that goes all the way like that. So, you know, the clouds look very different at different altitudes. So that's another thing that you kind of have to play with the weather radar to correctly avoid such weather. But you know, the basic thing about weather radars in Prepar3D and FSX, you know, if you have active Skynex, you can do those kind of things with add-ons like the iFly or the PMDG 737, which is great. So I would definitely recommend that. So a lot of talking when there's no HC, but we'll see what's up for the approach. We kind of have to pay some attention to that as well when I'm making a left turn towards the ILS. And I'll just check if there's no traffic departing anytime soon from Bristol. Otherwise we'll need to go around, climb to 3,000 feet and just execute radio communication failure, basically. Oh, something stopped working. Apparently my CP flight MCP stopped working, which is not very nice. And we'll set flaps 1. Meantime, we'll try to descend as hard as we can, and the CP flight MCP seems to be working again. And I think I'll just use level change for a while, so we can descend a bit faster. And we'll take care of the speed later. So another thing, you should not always rely fully on automation like VNAV, because never really does what you want. So sometimes I also just use flight level change to get down to the runway as quick as I can. And I hope we can make it, otherwise I'll just vector myself a little bit. Because we're coming in a bit high and fast. So we'll reduce to 180, see if we can make it. Set flaps 5. Flaps 5 are set. And switch is continuous. Landing lights are on. Sorry, I didn't put the gear 2 off. I'll do that now anyways. Kind of ditching the airplane right now, which is not really a good thing to do. And we'll switch to local QNH 1020. Yeah, you know what? I'll make a little bit of an orbit here. We're coming in a bit too high and too fast. So I think this is a good moment to just break off the ILS approach and make a little 360-degree turn, which is called an orbit, which allows us to lose a little bit more altitude while we then we'll just use a heading of 070, or what is it, 300 degrees to get back to the ILS approach. or I mean 240 degrees actually. So we can enjoy some more of the beautiful skies around us. There we go. So as you can see, we're almost back on the same track. We've lost enough altitude to safely get to the ILS approach. And it might have been a good thing as well, because there's some traffic also departing from Bristol. So there we go. Heading 240. You can see there are beautiful surroundings here, and that's what I love about Prepared. Those beautiful hills and you know, trees everywhere. There are things I miss about FS 2004 as well, like the raindrops on the VC when it's raining, and just great stability overall. Of course, it's a very important thing. But you know, you kind of have to weigh the pros and the cons when you're making a decision to switch. But I'm very happy with it. So if you have any short stories to share about your switch to Prepared or any other simulator like X-Plane, a lot of people ask me about X-Plane, why I didn't take a look at that or didn't switch to that. So I did take a look at it, and I think it looks pretty good. But I just think the market is a bit bigger for Prepared. So, and there's some really interesting products coming up as well. So, okay, approach mode is armed. There we go. I can already see the runway, so might as well just fly manually in a bit. Hell, already tuning ground, why not? Final heading 268. And we'll just reduce the speed to 160 knots. Since the runway is perfectly inside, I'll just select flaps 10. Wait for the gear to come down. Everything's set. Speed brake armed. Gear down, flaps 15. And we'll fly manually. Use the final approach speed, 142. Flaps 30. See how this goes. No wind, so we should not be having to use too much rudder. bit laggy. I think that's because I'm recording. But I'll try to make the best of it.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
There we go. Manual braking. Yeah, I've had better performances with Prepared. When I'm not recording, it's a lot smoother, but it's a matter of experimenting, I guess. So, Golf. There we go. Bristol ground, good evening, it's Skytrail 4124, vacated runway 27.
Skytrail 4124, welcome to Bristol, taxi to stand 25.
Taxi to stand 25, Skytrail 4124. Okay. Alright, so that was a beautiful approach, I must say, along those hills near Bristol, and of course thanks to the orbit, we had a little look at the Irish Sea. Well, it's not the Irish Sea, what I'm saying, it's the, what is it? It's the mouth of Severn. That's what we were looking at. And there's some cars driving next to us, that's nice. Anyways, we have this taxi to stand number 25. Let's take a look where it is. It's almost straight ahead of the control tower. Let's turn on the APU already. B26. Oh, there they are. I missed those ground marks. Stand 25. There we go.
Skytrail 4124, thank you for flying to Bristol, have a good evening.
Yes, thanks for the ATC service, have a good evening, bye bye. Ground controller wants to leave. There we go. Oh, applying reverse thrusters. Now we'll have to take APU over. There we go. So, welcome to Bristol, guys. So unfortunately, no 8C on the arrival. I had hopes that there was Bristol approach online, and then there was London West controller was also online, but he left just before we arrived. So that's a pity. But I think this is a nice little video to at least demonstrate prepared, and for me it's also a good way to test. Of course, prepared for real VATSIM videos. Well, I consider this a real one, but this is was just a little video, a quick one in between to test everything and to of course to release another VATSIM video, which is always a lot of fun to do. And this way I hope to learn more and improve the performance here and there to make even better videos for you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments. Of course, I've got a bunch of other VATSIM videos that were released quite a short time ago. Was the Multicrew Flight from Stuttgart to Hamburg in Germany. Make sure you check that one out. It was the last one where I used FS 2004 as the flight simulator. But of course, it's great fun, that video. Having 2 pilots on board. Also, make sure you check out my flight in the US from Memphis to Atlanta. Great flight there on the other side of the pond. And of course I got a bunch of other VATSIM videos from London Heathrow to Amsterdam, from Bratislava to Prague, from, I have to remember now all of them, Geneva to Frankfurt, Zurich to Copenhagen, Amsterdam to Vienna. I've made a lot of them, so make sure you check them out. They're all here. They're also in the description. If you want to learn more about VATSIM, make sure you check out my website, AviationPro.nl. If you'd like to support the Aviation Pro channel, please check out my Patreon page over at patreon.com/aviationpro. Because thanks to your support and your donations, I can keep making these videos, and you know, I wouldn't have been able, thanks to my patrons, to make the switch to prepared. So your support there is greatly appreciated. So make sure you check that out. And I'll see you on the next flight. We'll see where that is. I will make sure that there will be a flight with full ATC again, with maybe 2 events, for example. But this one I planned within 1 day, just to release another video before my holidays, and just to you know, have a little bit of fun with this new simulator. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.